So this is a LG side-by-side refrigerator, and the problem was there's no ice or water coming out. Everything was working previously. The ice maker works, and when you press the water, you hear the inlet valve going, but no water was coming out. And when you press the ice maker, the valve was opening, but the auger wasn't turning. So if it was just one problem, it would make sense. If it was just the water not working, you could isolate it to the inlet valve. If it was just the ice maker not working, you could isolate it to the auger not turning. But because both weren't working at the same time, that is an odd issue. So when I looked at this and I see that the control panel is working fine. Everything's lit up, no issues with the control board. The switches were working. When you press the levers, the lights are going on. So these switches are okay. And it would be odd if both switches went at the same time. So that leads to a different issue. So when you keep digging, I came down to, on the side here, there's a control board, which is this board. And this is an ice and water control board. So when I found this, I said, this is the problem. It makes perfect sense why this won't work. So I ordered this part, and it came, and I put it in, and nothing changed. So that was a big concern. I thought for sure that this would be the problem. So that didn't work. What else could be the problem? Turns out, I happened to see another video when someone had a similar issue, and it turns out one of the wires that comes down the side here broke. So it wasn't giving power to the functions. I never assumed it because I can't believe a wire would break inside the fridge, but because it's inside the door handle here, I guess opening the door and closing it, something happened. Because there's no shortage on the connections. You could tell it's not blacked out here, and on the other end up here, there was no signs of being burnt out. So something happened to the wire itself where it just broke. And the way to test that was taking our multimeter and putting it to continuity. We put one lead, well, first we want to unhook the power. So this is the power coming in, from the other side of the fridge. And then we just want to disconnect this. So now we just have our lines that go straight down through the door and come out to our control board. So you can see there's, on this board, now you're going to have to take this out. So you want to take this out. Yeah, there's a screw here. Just unscrew it and take this whole thing out. So you want to put your leads from color to color and just test for continuity. So you can see that some of the colors line up. There's blue, red, pink, and gray. And you'll see the same colors down here. Each one of these had continuity. However, when it came to this wire, there was no continuity. This wire comes from this pink wire here, it turns a different color here for some reason, but this is the power line. And if you put your multimeter on this end of it and test for AC voltage, you'll see it's 120 volts. So this is supplying the power. So there's no continuity on this line to this line down here. So that seems like it's the problem. Now I wanted to be 100% sure because you see here there's about 8 wires here, and if you go back to the top there's only 5 wires. So some of the wires may be going in different directions in the door, and I don't know if every wire goes directly to this, so you just don't want to make the assumption that all the wires come straight down. Some might take a different route. So for me, the only way to kind of prove that this was the issue, I hot wired it. And what I mean is, I took a couple wires and I actually took a Dremel tool and I cut the top ends of it. I smoothed it out. And what I did was I stuck one end, first to turn the power off. I stuck one end into where the lead comes in, where power comes in, and I just ran it down the outside of the fridge, and I connected it to where the power should come in on the other side. And I just did this on the outside. Now if you're going to do this, tape off all the metal. Don't have any metal exposed, because when you turn the power on, that's going to be live. So when you do that and make sure everything is taped off, hook up the connection again, turn the power to the fridge on, and if you do that, your function should work again. You'll see that the water comes out, the ice turns. So once you do that, well, great, you figured out the problem. So now what's the solution? So now the video I saw, this guy's board was up here on top of the fridge. So all he had to do was run a line from here to here, which is easy. Our problem is our wire goes through the door down here. And how are we going to get the wire from there to here? That is the problem. So I thought about it for a while, and I said, well, maybe I can run the wire straight down. You know, there's not a lot of room in here to work with, but I was able to get a metal rod. I was able to stick it straight down, and it actually went all the way down here. So I said maybe I could reach it. So I just drilled a couple of pilot holes here, one here and one up there, and I wanted to see if I can at least see it. And the problem is I couldn't. As much as I tried, I just couldn't see it. And even if I could see it, I don't know if I could have been able to reach it. And another issue I found out is that the water lines are actually running down this line here. Down the water line comes from the top. It runs all the way to the bottom, and then it comes back up again. So you have 2 water lines up here. So you got to be careful drilling in here, because you'll hit the water line like I did, and then you have to, put some glue on and fix it, which I did. It worked. So that doesn't work. So what's the alternative? Well, what I decided to do was I decided to run it in a different route. So what I did was I went behind the molding here. All I did was I took a drill bit, small drill bit, and I drilled kind of up at an angle. just to poke a hole, because there's nothing here behind here. Just poke the hole right past the plastic. Don't go any further, really lightly. And then I fished a line up through the top here. And once I fished a line up top, I was able to pull the wire back down. So I fished the line straight down. It's hiding behind the molding here. And we come down to here, and I ended the line right there. Now, you probably don't even notice, but there's another section of the door. It's a secondary valve. And here's how it works. The water lines come down here. This is the these are the water valves. Let me make sure what's going on here. This is the water line coming from the top of the fridge. It goes through this thing, whatever this is, and it goes into the valve. And these are the out valves. So this red one goes to the ice maker, and this white one goes to the water dispenser. So there's this secondary inlet valve. So I just cut a hole straight in, and I was able to just get in that little part of the plastic there, and it really wasn't that hard. So I fished a line through there, and then I fished a line up, and I came up there it is. I came up through there, the bottom. And now I have the line there, so all I did was I bypassed the line, and I hooked up, you cut the line. I cut the line in the middle and just hooked it up on this side. I cut the line on this side and I hooked it up. So this part, this is the old line. It is now dead. It's cut on this side, it's cut on the other side. It was dead already, so it doesn't work, so I just taped it off. And now your new line is supplying the power. So once you have that, that solves the problem, and you are good to go. I believe that is all the issues you should come up with, and hopefully that helps. Thanks.